Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
What's up, friends? Welcome back to the TV Terminal. My name's Adam Bale, Senior Editor over at the Koalition.com.
And what is that? My name is Lawrence. A punk with toys on all the socials. I have no idea what that was.
There we go. That was crazy. See, no edits. You're getting it all real right now, people. This is it. We're gonna keep that in.
People like real. People like. I watch one of those like unsolved mystery podcast girls, and she does stuff and she'll mess things up and she'll be like, I'm not redoing it. And
I watch some guys that take calls. Like there's like two people and it's always like, oh, I got an important call. All right, and then they just go off, they mute themselves, you can see them talking. And still there's like, freaking 100 people listening. But anyway, welcome, people. This is it. For a lot of people, this is the show they've been waiting for when it comes to Yellowstone and the Yellowstone universe. We're not going to say Taylor Sheridan, executive producer, creative characters, but not really involved in this. We're going to just call it Yellowstone universe. This was a big one. This is Beth. This is your favorite character, Rip. They're on their adventure with Carter, their son, adopted son, founded son. I don't even know if it was legal. They claimed him. That's all that matters, right? It's all about the love.
It's not legal. It's as legal as them owning a Zeus.
There you go. Bringing it up so soon, right?
If you haven't watched, then you don't know who Azus is.
Exactly. You're getting spoiled right now.
Huh? Okay.
We are assuming everyone here has watched the 2 episodes, right? If you have, great. We're going to talk about it. We'll skim over some of the fluff stuff. There was some of that, but I get it. They're trying to set things up, but really focus on the meat and potatoes and what's going to pull us in for this season. And let's just get into this. All right. So where are they? They don't really say it, but we know where they are. They're in Montana. Right, unless our screeners didn't show it, and then someone's going to say, "Oh, you didn't see a big Montana splash screen like in Madison."
If I remember correctly, they at the end of Yellowstone, they were talking about buying their own ranch.
So
they weren't going to be that far from Casey. Now, this is where, and I've said this before, and I don't know if I said it on the show of Marshall's. Like, where are we at? Does this take place at the same time? Or is one before or after?
We don't know.
And we'll see here, because remember, Casey reaches out. This is from the Marshalls. If you're not watching the Marshalls, Casey needs help on his ranch, and Rip sends a couple hands over to help until he can figure things out. Now, we know this show takes place in Texas. If he was in Texas, it'd be a lot harder to just send some people up to Montana. We're assuming they got to be pretty close.
Yeah, it has to be pretty close. And then, of course, we get the beautiful shots, right? Beautiful drone shots, beautiful landscapes. We see Rip. He's happy. He's riding his horse. Beth jumps on her horse. She's so happy there. It's life, right? This is it. There's even a scene where they're laying down, right? And like, oh, this is it. This is all we need to do.
Lifetime movie of the week.
Exactly. Lifetime. And I was like, boom. Or the Hallmark Channel. Come on now. What is this? We get what it is, but still, it was very... They were getting the feels. If this connects with you, then there you go. They made it seem like it's fantastic. I've seen people talk, real cowboys and people work farms that talk about Yellowstone and all this stuff here, and they're like, this is the hardest job you could possibly get. Cattle ranching it's not easy.
No, I mean, this isn't a job you go to school for. This is a job you end up with. But what they show here is these beautiful landscapes, these beautiful scenery shots. And you mentioned it with the Madison that, hey, they're trying to do what they did with Yellowstone, right? They're showing you this land, how much it is, how beautiful it is. And they did this here, and they specifically show you the mountains in this one because that gets brought up later on. But basically what happens is, they're talking about how happy they are. They fall asleep underneath, a tree, and then he starts seeing lightning. Rip wakes up, there's lightning, and he sees it hitting. Now, there's never any rain or anything, which if you've ever lived through that, like it's interesting to watch skies light up.
We saw some of that in Marshall's. Marshall's had a scene like that. Remember the storm that was supposedly there with the grizzly bear and all that?
And that makes you wonder: is this the same point? Like, is there overlapping of episodes? And obviously not episodes, but just the exact same time, right?
Yes and no, only because we don't see in this episode any ranch hands. We don't hear Rip screaming out. It's like, hey, get this, unless all his ranch hands were with Casey at his ranch. And that's why he was alone. Because, like you just said, it strikes.
No, there are a couple because he yells at one of them.
It? Oh,
Yeah, he yells at one of them, I believe.
I heard him screaming to Beth and doing a lot.
He screams at Carter. But either
she
way,
goes to get him. Yeah.
Either way, what happens is, they take off for the ranch. Basically, there's now a fire, just a brush fire, right? And it's not their house. It's their land. He tries cutting the calves, and all the cows. Beth says 90 seconds. Get whatever you can take. To Carter, they take off and they leave Rip behind.
Yeah, he doesn't make it out of this. Spoiler.
Yeah, so it's just like Madison. So
exactly. We
thought about that if you didn't know.
How wild would it? That would have been amazing if they did that. People would have been up in arms because a lot of people love their relationship and this dynamic and this whole thing that's going on with them.
And I'm like, and then they reboot Highway to Heaven in the Yellowstone universe.
Oh boy, right? Might as well. But yeah. So like you said, Beth goes in, gets Carter. Come on, we got to go. She grabs some things, pictures and stuff like that, and she heads out. She leaves. Now there's one emotional scene, and they pulling this in. I just said it. I'm sure everyone watching this and I've watched it, no idea. They're like, no, there's no way we're gonna lose Rip, and they sort of try to hint that that's a possibility because it's a calf surrounded by a ring of fire. Right. And he's like on his horse. He's like, what do I do? Do I leave it? Do I go? I'm going to go. And he runs toward the fire. So we're assuming that he jumped over with the horse and got the calf and came out. The whole thing.
There was no slow motion shot.
No, none of
but
that.
He goes through the fire. Now we jump to Beth and Carter kind of sitting there waiting. And finally she says, get the horses, undo the trailer. I'm going.
Weren't they like in town? Because I saw all these other people, so I think they made it to like an evacuation zone.
Yeah, they must have made it to an evacuation. So basically, all the farms, or all the ranches are being wiped out. All their cattle, horses, probably anything, right? I think it's safe to assume they lost their home and everything, right?
Well, yeah, it's all gone.
So
and that's one of the things that he had said.
Yeah, Beth goes looking for him, and here we see. Rip come out with a little calf on the horse that he just couldn't leave behind.
That's money.
And he's all burnt. And what they didn't show was in the room next to Double G was Rip when he dies.
God. Oh my God. I'm telling you, there we go. That's how this all connects.
I'm sorry. This was going to be a shorter episode. I can't do it.
Can't do it. It was right there. He was in the hospital.
Okay. So
they talked to Casey and they were like, right? They're like, wait. You're here for Double G. Oh, by the way, do you know the other cowboy next door? Oh, let me go see. Oh no, I guess I keep his ranch hands. Right. Oh. So
this is an issue, right? Like, Rip goes in, he comes out of this fire, he's surrounded by this fire.
Yeah.
He's perfectly fine. Double G, again, this goes back to the Marshals. If you're not watching, go watch it.
Yeah, fantastic show. Yeah.
He runs in to help a couple horses and he dies. Sorry, it hurt. I just ruined his lungs.
Yeah, well, they're like, how dare you? Now I don't. But it was a big deal. And it's like, because of his lung damage. He wasn't in there that long. Rip has been surrounded by fire for at least 20 minutes because remember, Beth still had to leave, and I'm sure that wasn't just a 5-minute drive to the evacuation zone. And then they
get a cattle to pick up a baby calf and put it on the horse, get on the horse. That poor horse is like, what about me?
Yeah, well, but he does say everything is gone. So there you go. And then we got that intro. So a lot happened right before this episode technically started, but they're setting things up because they're gone, right? This is it, right? We get like 6 months later and
6 months later and they're in Rio Palmo, Texas.
A border town, they said. It was like a small border town. So
So yeah, we see Beth waking, and at first we're like, was this all a dream?
Right. That would be cool.
But as she walks out, and Rip is sitting out, it's like 4 a.m. and she can't believe that it's this hot at 4 a.m. because they're from Montana, and it is a different lifestyle in Texas.
Different lifestyle. She questions it. She was like, "Did we make the right choice?" And he was like, "Well, this was the only choice, pretty much." It was like they put everything they had into this, and that's one of the things that we find out with this. It's like whatever money they did have, it's all invested in this ranch that they purchased from someone. Yep, that they knew. I think it was the Rogers had called.
And we will see later on the purchasing of this, and the reason why they purchased it, and everything's going to come together. I think this is going to be a lot like Landman, where kind of everything really does fall into place. Like the puzzle pieces are going to fall into place properly. But as soon as that's over, we're introduced to Chet and Rob Will. And yes, his name is Rob Will.
Rob Will. Is that a name? Put in the comments if you know a Rob Will. If that's I don't know. I've never in my 83 years of living, I've never met a Rob Will. So no, I don't.
If you go back to Saved by the Bell,
yes,
and the lead actor, his name is Mark Paul, not Mark Paul. It's Mark Paul.
That's wrong. I'm sorry. You shouldn't do that. I'm sorry. That's nope. I'm not going with it. But yeah, we see this wrong. It's all wrong. But yeah, we see that Rob Will, right, and Chet. Yes. And they head into a bunkhouse. They tell this guy to wake up, and we'll just say who he is. This is the foreman, right? Then this is the bunkhouse for the Cowboys for another ranch, right? What was it? Two. It
is called the 10 Pedal. So what you I'm just gonna call it the 10P because that's what they have on there. 10P.
Yeah, 10P. Right? Tells this guy, come on, we got to go. We got to get some heifers, or a heifer escaped or something like that. But like, okay, fine.
Yeah, he gets him out of the bunkhouse. He basically says, "Hey, be quiet." But one guy does see him, right? One guy does see him. Foreshadow. Austin, I can only imagine where that guy's going to end up, right?
Right. Exactly. But that was Austin. I think that's his name. If we try to remember all these,
Austin. His name isn't in here yet. Austin is the one that sees him. I forget who. Yeah. We'll have notes on it, and eventually we'll get back to.
Yeah, I have so many notes. Either way, I'm looking.
Rob Will accuses the foreman of looking at the books, and we don't know. He just and he just boom takes.
Doesn't give him a chance to answer.
Yes,
and even find out a lot about
that. Yeah, we're gonna find out a lot about Rob Will. He's the loose cannon, right? You got to have that loose cannon.
Always.
We see this with every kid, right? Any kid in shows. And Chet's just like, he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Chet says, okay, whatever.
Just kill the foreman. Like, that's kind of reckless. And we find out more.
His name is Wes.
Wes. There you go. Wes. So we got Wes, the foreman, who's passed. We got Chet, who is one of the other hired hands. We got Rob Will. Horrible name. Horrible name. I'm also not a fan of his mom's name, who we get in, I think, the next scene a little later. Beulah. That's an old name.
Someone else has two names too, but I actually didn't write down her second name. But
Oriana Lynn, that's the other one that we come across later on in this episode. I mean, there's a lot of character names, and if you watch the episode, you get all these names. You get up. So there's a lot of new characters, and that's expected. So they're in a new territory. They're in Texas.
So we only have 3 existing characters that we know
so far. I have a feeling we're still gonna come across some of the other ranch hands at the the 6 ranch, the 6 ranch, or something like that. Remember that last season? They sent.
I don't think that ranch is anywhere near them.
No. But it's in Texas.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And
yeah.
I mean, it's set up to bring back any of these guys, especially the old guy, right? The old guy that was like Rip's right-hand man. They've set that up, but they also give us a character that looks like he might be that guy. We quickly see Beth and Rip, and Rip leaves. But then we get to Beulah Jackson. So she is the owner of the 10 pedal, 10P.
Oops.
She's with 2 other people, and they see these pigs fighting, and she gives this little story about, when they start to go feral, they will end up fighting each other.
If you're
And
not
it's
feeding them, yeah, because he
Yeah.
said that when was the last time you checked this pen over here? And it's like, I don't know, I don't come this way, and they left it alone. And now we thought that the body was there, right? That's what we were
Yeah.
thinking, but no, she says, like you just said, they go feral, they go crazy, and they'll just start eating each other. They start off with the young, and they do what they have to do to survive.
And I think we may have missed it watching it, or maybe they just expect us to fill it in. The reason why they all have to be killed is because this is how they are now. They can't go
Annette
back.
Bening is also the actress that's playing. We
Okay.
know her. So Beulah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah, I think of Beulah McGillicuddy. If you know, you know.
That's who I think of too, believe it
There
or
you
not.
go. You see? Hey, there we go.
That is actually
everybody.
who I think of too.
Because that's the only person I've ever known that had that, right? So
It's like you know the name, but you're like, I've never met anyone named Beulah.
yeah, never. For a long time it was like that with Stella. Like I know the streetcar named Desire and Stella, and it wasn't until like
I don't know
later
if I
on
know
in
anyone
life.
named Stella.
Yeah, I met one girl, and we weren't even cool or anything. And then they just introduced her in class, like this is Stella something, and I just said Stella. Nobody got it. The teacher did, but no one in the class got it. It must have been like 10th, 11th grade. I don't know, but whatever. But yeah, we got Beulah. She's here, and she's gonna be the hard ass. She's going to be the troublemaker. She is not a nice person, you know. And so we'll also say right now, she is the mother of the other dude, Rob Will,
and
Joaquin.
But we don't see their father. Well, we don't see Joaquin's father. I don't think that it's.
Oh, you think there's
Will's
different
father.
dads? Different dads could be.
Just he says stuff in it, but we'll find out. Because she basically says later on, hey, you know what? He doesn't have anything to do with the ranch. So, but we do see Carter studying. So now we know that he's in school. You and I both said, this guy's got to be like 25. He's only 19, but I'm glad they address it. And what I mean by address it is one of the kids in school will eventually address it. But he's aggravated. He's going to be a cowboy. You know, he's going to be a cowboy. What do I need math for? And Beth starts just ripping off stuff that you're going to need to know.
And he knows it. He knows his stuff. Yeah. He knows the math of how everything accounts on the land, selling the land, beef, all that stuff. Yeah. He gets it. He just has to understand that this is what it's all about. So it was great. We saw a little bit of that. It reminded me of the Madison. Remember? The same thing with the daughter and getting the whole little lecture back in the cabin. So again, if you haven't watched Madison, you could do that. It's tie-ins, people. Besides that, they're all within the Yellowstone spinoff realm.
Yeah,
I feel like they're going with a certain theme with all of these shows.
But the one thing that we see, and I don't, because Carter was never filtered out, right? Like basically, Carter was, in my opinion, when I looked at Yellowstone, Carter was always seen as, well, this is what John Dutton did for Rip. Now they're doing it for Carter. But since, as we know, and in case you've never watched Yellowstone, Beth cannot have kids, and that is one of the reasons why she hated her
brother. Yes,
who's not really her brother, correct?
No, he was I'd say he was adopted, and it was a whole big thing.
Listen, they just take kids, okay?
There's a lot of
kids, and they're like, hey, there are kids, right?
But he did some horrible things and ruined her chance. So horrible.
That was a good story, though. I'm just saying.
Oh, there was a lot of good stories with that. It was different.
And I gotta say, going back to that, they really made it so her brother was left in a no-win position. Like he didn't know how to handle it. And anyway,
he went too far with it. I mean, that's when we could all agree. We don't go that far. I was like, all right, can you go and bring it? Like, I just fix her. I don't care what you do. Just. And he knew that that doctor was going to do that.
Well, they fix a lot of things in ways we wouldn't. So maybe
that's true. Yeah, but so we see that, and we all talked about it. I'm sure a lot of people were saying it. Carter looks old. The actor who's playing, he definitely looks older than his age. We cracked the jokes while watching it. Oh, we got Johnny Depp situation here. 21 Jump Street. They're all from high school. You come on.
But
really,
the thing we are seeing is Beth wants him to go be a kid, go have fun. Like she wants him to be, and we never got to see that in Yellowstone, right?
No.
Like none of them got to be kids, right?
It was work.
I think that's why we saw Beth broke away the way that she did, right? And then Casey went off to join the Navy. And I'm assuming the oldest son that dies in the first episode in Yellowstone, I'm assuming he was the most like John Dutton, because we know.
Yeah.
What was the other brother's name?
Which one? not
The,
Casey. The governor's son, the
the
stepson.
attorney general.
Prick. Oh man, I'm
Wasn't Prick.
blanking on.
Um,
I'm blanking on his
Jamie.
name. Jamie. Yeah, that's it. Jamie.
Anyway,
No one liked Jamie. I didn't like him even before he came in as someone you're not gonna like. Remember, he was a tough ass lawyer. Right, and we knew he was going to be a hard ass before all the other people, but eventually he double crossed his dad. It was a whole big thing, and we're just spoiling everything. We're like,
well, if you haven't seen Yellowstone yet, I'm not worried about spoiling anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I do apologize for spoiling anything for the Marshals because that is still fairly new. But
it's ongoing. 2 more episodes for them.
So we see Beulah again, and she comes riding up, and the trucker's sitting there, and she's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm waiting." "How long have you been waiting?" "Half hour." "Did you try calling?" "Yes." "There's no one's here." So she's aggravated because it was a livestock that was in there waiting.
They had to move, the heifers, and they were like, her son. She's waiting for Rob Will, who's missing right now.
Don't name your kid. I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to apologize. If you have 2 first names, that's on you. You should need to talk to your parents. Again, you're either.
I want to just go, because I want to just call him Rob, but then it's technically incorrect.
No, because they always call him Rob Will.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's like they never call him Rob.
Yeah, you're either a criminal or a scumbag, or you're a NASCAR driver. Okay.
NASCAR. Billy Bob. All right, but okay, man.
I guess you could be an actor too if you're Billy Bob. Okay. Anyway.
Oh man, Billy Bob. We love him. Landman. That's another fantastic show. Go check that out if you haven't watched that one. That's a good one. And that takes place in Texas. We could see a tie-in with that as well if we want. I could see that. If we go in this universe, we're not talking in the Taylor Sheridan universe. We're talking about the Yellowstone and all this. And now that they're in Texas, they could definitely connect that in some way.
Because it's not connected. And
everyone says they all say that.
They should. These all should be connected. They don't have to ever be in the same universe, but it could be like, oh yeah, you remember when the governor of Montana was, everyone thought he took his own life and turned like. You can reference like stuff like that. You don't have to cross them over.
Yeah. We see Rip hanging out with Azul. That's the hand that we were just referencing early in the opening that comes to the property. Azul Ramos.
If you watch it, you're like, man, I can't keep it up. His name is Azul Ramos because soon we'll have.
That was like in episode 2. We get a little more backstory.
Yeah, Rob Will refers to him as Ramos. I thought maybe so it's his name Ramos because when he comes out. Rip refers to him as Azul, but like, okay, yeah, he's just being rude because he's Mexican. He's just being racist. No, it's like going back and forth.
Yeah. That's
a lot. So Azul Ramos.
So they get in the truck and they head out to go do some work. We get Carter. He's in school. Looks at a girl. Looks at him. Whole big thing. But the main part of this is that when they're in their break room, the lunchroom or what, a cafeteria, even one of the girls that's hanging out with the other one is like, "How old are you?"
So this happens after the gas station.
Yeah. It happens. I just want to get this part out of the way.
Okay.
This little school segment here because there was because it happened really quick because she brings up, she was like, "How old are you?" And he's like, "I'm 19." It's like a grown man, and it's like,
she asked him if he's 25, right?
Yeah. And he's like, "No, 30." Close.
He doesn't answer. That's what I was like.
That's the weird part too. Yeah, he doesn't answer. We looked it up. We were like, oh, he's supposed to be. Later on, he says he's 19 when he's talking to the other girls. Yeah. But here, come on. I mean, I would if someone questions my age, especially and I'm a new student. He's new.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah. All right.
Okay. So here's what I'm gonna say. So she says, "What are you, 25?" Later on, either in this episode or the next episode, he says, "I'm only 19." And when all of you said, "Bullshit, you're only 19," he really is. And I looked it up. I was like, this guy's older than Steve Sanders was in 90210.
Well, some people just have that look. I think it's the facial hair. It's a facial hair. That's true. That's true. You still look like you're 16 and a half. You're pulling it. You purposely shave your head so that we can look older. We get it.
Well, I still have all this gray that's come in. Okay, but we jumped over because we have the gas station scene, and this sets up a lot of stuff. Yeah. This is setting up a feud. So we see Chet and Rob Will, and at this time they're walking to the gas station. Then we have Azul and Rip. They stop at the gas station. Azul goes in and gets something, and Rob Will is being extremely rude towards Ramos and
He's
calling
following him
Ramos.
around in the store. I can
Yeah.
understand if it was like, oh, you're in the same aisle or waiting online and you're just talking smack. He's following him around, just saying all this offensive stuff, to him.
Now, mind you, he just murdered someone the night before.
Yeah, he's busy. This guy. This guy's definitely busy.
So when Azul comes out, or Azul, I may be saying it wrong. I apologize.
I think it's Azul.
He's saying stuff to him, and basically Rip steps up, and
Well, he said stuff to Rip as well. That's what triggered it. I don't think it's so much of what was going on with just Azul. Yeah, Rip was there and overheard, but he's like, not my business. But then he started saying, "Oh, this your new owner."
No, so I'm going to disagree with you, because what we find at the beginning of episode 2, what she tells him about what comes with the ranch.
Oh yeah. So, there's some of that, but I mean, from here, it didn't look like he was going to get involved until the guy started throwing a bunch of smack talk to Rip, and then that's when Rip stepped up and he said, "Oh, you're a tough guy. You're going to threaten me," and the whole thing. And then that's when
and then he shows the gun. Now this is a really bad criminal, because he's showing the gun that he just used to murder someone.
Oh, he's a loose cannon. That's what they're telling us right here. He
pulls it out, and Rip grabs it from him, hits him in the head.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and he's like, "Oh, I'll let you
don't mess with me," right?
You know what this reminded me of? Deadwood. No. Tombstone. My bad. Tombstone.
Yes.
Remember Tombstone? There was with
when
the
he grabs it and he clocks him in the
head. And he punches him in the head. He's like, "Oh, you messed with the wrong guys. You did it. Oh, I'm gonna get you." And that's what I felt like here. It's like, because he said the same thing. You get that one. You get that. And he got in his car and he was so pissed he left.
In Tombstone, who plays the main character in Tombstone?
Kurt Russell.
Okay, and who's the main character on
The Madison? Kurt Russell. And then they're gonna bring back an AI version of
and wait a minute,
Val Kilmer, and they're gonna bring him in.
But we also had his brother, right? His brother was also in 1878,
1883. Was he?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The deep voice guy, the brother.
Oh, yeah. No, who was also in the Landman. Oh,
in Landman.
Yeah, he is. Yes. Yeah, he didn't
pass
away.
These connections that we're making.
It's all. Yeah, we're making all this. Oh man, what's his name? Any Ram.
I can never.
Why are we
Sam Elliott.
Yeah, Sam Elliott. There we go. Oh, there we go.
This is why these shows go for so long.
Exactly.
We spend more time talking about other things.
Oh my, but that's the whole thing. And then we put it, people. I'd be like, oh, they talk about it. I always put in a thumbnail talking and then the name of the show, because that's what this is. It's just a discussion about the show. It's not just a regurgitation of what took place. You already saw the episode. You know that. We're just sharing our thoughts and the connections.
You either like the banter or you don't. But anyway,
that's true.
So after that happens, he takes the gun. He takes the magazine out of it. Chet comes over and apologizes, because Chet already knows that they're in a lot of trouble, and the last thing he needs is him calling the police saying this guy pulled the gun on me. They're gonna take that gun, and that might link back to the guy that he just unalived.
Yeah. So there goes that, and then we already went over the school situation. I just want to get that done, but then in a similar situation, we've seen Beth do this before. I don't know if is this a bar?
Making friends.
Well, she can make new friends, but what I want to say is this a bar? Is she hanging people? Do you know what is it? It didn't look like a bar.
This is like a bar restaurant.
Well, maybe I was trying to figure it out. I wasn't too sure because they didn't say anything. But yeah, she's sitting at the bar, and a guy comes in, starts getting snooty with the waitress.
No. First, this is when Beth meets Beulah, because she goes down to get the 6 cows.
Oh, that's why. That's right. That's why she's here. She's pissed.
Yes, she's mad.
That's right. Whoopsie. All right.
When she goes there, this is where she meets Beulah, and basically, she's like, "We normally don't slaughter that few," and she's like, "Well, this is what I want," and then asks what the price is, and she gives some outrageous price, and she's like, "That's extortion."
But even the receptionist was snooty. She had an attitude.
Well, yeah.
This whole place has an attitude. I didn't understand that. It's like, and she even said it. She was like, "Oh, this woman up front doesn't want my business." And then that's when Beulah was like, "Well, let me hear your business." Yeah, it wasn't good enough.
Again, Beth is already making friends in town.
Yeah.
But again, you have to set up the bad guy, right?
Yeah, bad guy, but it's not a fault. But yeah, that's kind of, I don't know if that's a thing. People, if you live in this world, if you're familiar with this process, is that something where someone from a slaughterhouse where it's like, no, we don't take the money up front, we just take a cut of the profits that you make? That seems kind of crazy. That's just, she said, extortion. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it could be a small town, and this is how it works. We know eventually they drive off.
But I think that they do a large amount. So they're like 6, we're not doing 6. When we find out the people that end up taking the business, it's a small little.
Yeah, it's a mom and pop operation. Yeah.
So anyway, then we quickly see, before we get to the scene at the bar, Jesus and Rip, and basically finding out like they have these snakes. They have to watch out for them. It's just, it's setting up. Mm-hmm. What?
The rattlesnakes, right? Wasn't it copperhead?
Yeah, this is a copperhead. So they're setting up other things. Just like, you remember they had the rattlesnakes in it was actually in Texas. Remember when they had to go down to Texas?
Yeah. And then they camped out. It was underneath them.
What was her name? No, but it was on her, remember?
Oh yeah. Oh man.
And then they basically were
she's also at that ranch in Texas. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if
her boyfriend is not though.
No, R.I.P. Pour one out. In fact, I'll take a sip of my coffee. Okay. Oh, what a horrible way to go! The way he went.
So this is where we meet Everett, and Beth is in a bar, and there's the barmaid.
The barmaid. Do you call a woman that works at a bar a barmaid? Right?
I've heard it before.
I know you've heard it before. That's why you said it, but I've never heard that before. I would never call a female bartender, "Hey, barmaid, over here."
Does she tend bar and does she clean the bar? Barmaid.
So what's the guy called then? Just a bar? I thought anyone that tended bar is a bartender.
He's just a bartender. Geez.
He's just a guy.
Have you ever seen a man? They don't clean up shit.
Oh, well, they got the bar backs. You get the bar backs.
No, a bar back is the person that keeps it filled.
I clean. Sometimes I clean. I try. I
like how you slowly.
I gotta think about it. I do laundry. But but the guy comes in, gets nasty, right? The whole little attitude thing comes in. But then Everett, Ed Harris comes in.
Yes,
and he plays this Everett. He's the vet. We'll just bring it up now. He's the town vet or the community vet, and then he just like
veterinarian, veterinarian, not like vet.
Well, he is a vet too. He is a vet and a veterinarian,
but he's the veterinarian. Both. So
yeah. There we go. He's that other. But
and I gotta say this in all reality, Ed Harris is that type of guy that even at his age of in his 70s, if I was somewhere and he yelled at me, I would probably.
He's a great actor.
He has that deep voice,
a presence.
Yes,
his face, the expressions. He delivers it, and that's what makes a great actor, right? It's the believability of the role and the character they're trying to portray, and he pulls it off. It didn't matter what he does. Westworld, that was fantastic. Also, when he was in that. So yeah, well, I'm thrilled to see him in this, and it's fitting. It doesn't feel out of place. So I was like,
just like Billy Bob Thornton. Yeah, Billy Bob. Like, their casting has been spot on with most things. Mm-hmm. But anyway, he basically just kicks the guy out for the most. Mm-hmm. And this is where Beth and him kind of strike up a conversation.
And if he isn't dead or whatever it is, something like that. She likes the fact that he stood up the way he did, and you don't see a lot of that. And then she takes off. That's it. She doesn't say her name or anything. They don't exchange that type of information. And then off they go. But that's cool. I'm glad he's here. I like to see that he's involved.
And then the next thing we see is Joaquin. He's picking up Chet, wants to know where his brother is. And he's like, I don't know. He took off. But here's the gun. And he's like, what are you doing? Like,
so I don't remember at this point. I guess he does know. Joaquin knows at this point. I think it was. I'm trying to figure out
Well-
when that came up, but either way, it did come up that he knows that he did something to Wes, the foreman.
Well, he's missing, and then
Yeah.
and then Rob Will can't be found.
Mhm.
So there's no foreman there, and no one to run the Cowboys. So yeah, he knows that there's an issue.
Yeah, but hey, it is what it is.
And then we see Beth get stopped in the road, and she's like, "Hey, I can't. I live 2 miles up here. And like, hey, we can't go nowhere. We have a horse trailer that was in an accident, flipped over. Horse was thrown. Rhubarb or bar, whatever it is, went through him." And she's like, "Dude, we'll put it out of its misery." It's like, not our job.
You called somebody else, right? Yeah, you called somebody else to do that job.
So she gets out, pulls her gun out, which, let's be honest, I don't care if you're in Texas or not. The police are probably like, well, you can't just pull out the gun here, right? Like, but she's going to go do it.
There's a certain way. There's a certain way to pull out a weapon. And she did not point it. She had it down. And I think it was still holstered at this point, or at least on her side. And they didn't see her as a threat. Because, yeah, she walks right past. She says, don't worry, I'll deal with this. Now, if it was,
she was, or else
they exactly. But if it was to say a guy or something like that, I think maybe they probably would have been a little more aggressive. Hey, sir, put the gun down. Put the gun. You know what I mean? But I think that she's like 5'4", something like that. They said she's kind of short, on the shorter side. I'm just saying this is how they would see it. Not me, but not us.
Possibly.
But the officer. They let her walk with this weapon in hand toward the horse.
And you're allowed to. And, you're allowed to.
Yeah. But, I mean, that still doesn't solve the problem, because even if you do that, who's going to clean it up? Someone still has to move the horse. You still need the vet.
I don't understand why. So I don't understand why they had to shut down the road, because a horse is thrown over 30 feet off the road. She has a four-wheel drive. She could have just driven around. I don't understand why they had to block.
I'm thinking there's something going on with the vehicles, and it was the moaning of the horse that she was annoyed by. So I don't think it was so much the horse was the problem. They're probably waiting for a tow truck to deal with all the other stuff on the road, and it was more like she just didn't want it. Remember, she said, put it out of its misery. She didn't want to sit there, wait for a tow truck to do whatever business they had to do.
Somebody can let her pass by. She's got a 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, go around the road. Yeah, you're right. Just go off road.
Yeah. But anyway, she can't do it. The horse is like looking at her, and she can't. And
it's like a Mr. Red type of thing. It tells like, don't do it.
and then Everett shows up, and he is the town veterinarian. And he's there to euthanize him. And she's watching. He's kind of explaining it, and he pulls it, and then she stops him and says, "Are you a good vet? Can you save this horse?" So I thought for sure that now we know the horse is basically given to them. Not given to them. They now bought this horse. I don't know why the owner wasn't like, "Well, I want to keep my horse."
Well, he says it's going to cost a lot of money, right? And he says, "Yeah, a big well," and she's like, "Yeah, a deep well." I was like, "Okay." I'm curious, how much does it cost? And I'm sure it's a lot, right?
It's got to be. But what we do get is, she has this. You see her soft spot. Like, she cannot just put this animal down. This animal is like literally looking at her, and I think any one of us that has had an animal that we've had to put down, we know how difficult it can be.
Yeah. And she was raised with horses. They don't go too much into it in Yellowstone, but I'm sure there's some connection there.
Yeah, and again, this is where we see their budding relationship, and I don't mean that in a sexual way or a romantic way.
Yeah.
And we find out more too. And then we get Carter leaving the school.
Well, we got Carter. The whole point was to go to the rodeo, right? Because the girl had said, "Hey, are you going to go to the rodeo?" The girl that he likes. I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna go. Okay, cool. I'll meet you there. And we talked about this off camera, and I'll throw this question out to you people. If you go to meet up with someone, guy, girlfriend, whatever, do you just go to the bleachers and sit down? No, you wait in the front, so that way you go together as a group, right? You don't just go. If I say, "Hey, I'm gonna take this girl to movies," I don't go and sit down in a movie theater and just wait and hope that she shows up and sits next to me.
He has no experience, not just with girls.
With the experience.
He has no experience with like interacting with people. 2, it's not a dark movie theater. And 3, you can see everyone. So who cares? I mean, I've gone and sat down and then you wave someone over, right?
No, not like this. No. I think you
No,
stand
you're
in your front.
wrong.
All right. People put in the comments. What do you do? What do you do? Do you just
I mean,
go
I
and say,
can't tell you how many times that I've gone to a school function and my ex is already there and got a
"Oh,
seat.
that's different. That's a
And
different situation."
well, she could wait at the front.
This is like a first date. This is the first date. This is a big deal. But whatever. He's there.
Well,
He's waiting.
maybe
He
if I would
does
have
see her.
done this on my first date, we
Things would have
wouldn't
been
have the
different.
kids that we
See,
have.
there you go. You see, back in time.
Or maybe we still be together.
If only we could go back, right? So he's there. The girl shows up, and he starts talking to her. It's like, "Hey, I don't want to be weird, but can you do me a favor?" And the other girls are there. It's like, "Oh, okay." So it's for him to go get beer, right? So he's like, "Okay, well, I get it. You think she's gonna? No one's gonna question you." Yeah,
I'm not
19.
21. He goes, "Who's not going to believe you're 21?"
Exactly. And then
And
she
we all
looked at
said
the
the same thing.
camera. She broke the fourth. She looked at the camera. It's like, "Do you believe that he's like, it's like, oh no, ma'am, I do not." So there goes that. And he was like, "Oh, that woman, there's no way she's gonna believe me." Come on now. You're fooling no one, sir.
So basically, he gets the beer and
He was being used. He's being played. Guy just comes and grabs it out of his hand, says thanks, and she's sorry, and she walks away. Doesn't even invite him. I could understand if he was part of their crew, their friend crew, and that's what I thought. I was like, all right. So think about if this is the guy that you bring in and it worked. Don't you want to keep him around then? It's like, oh, whenever we need beer, hey, we got a new guy. Hey, Carter, you're part of the crew. You're the beer run guy.
He could rent a car. Look at him.
He could do all kinds of things. He could go and serve in the military, come back. He could do all kinds of. He's Carter. He's amazing. But no, she cuts him off. She used him just for booze. Really, you could have just. She's a pretty girl. She could have went to any of these cowboys that's on this bleacher. If you're looking at this image, and say, "Hey, do me a favor. Can you go and get me some?" They would gladly do it. You don't need to torment this kid like that, especially the new kid. That was wrong.
Yeah.
That was wrong.
I don't think she's going to be that because she actually has credits. So I think we're going to see her.
Oh, well, we're always going to see her because she's in the same school in the class, and I'm sure it's going to come up again. But still, it's like, that hurt. And we were hoping he would have a smooth transition. Of course, it doesn't work that way. We've seen Karate Kid. We know how this pans out with new kids moving, right? And then there's a girl involved, and I'm waiting for like the football jock guy to come out. And it's like, hey, what are you looking at, my girl?
All right. So the fact that you brought up the Karate Kid, when he's talking about, like when they're talking about moving, I was totally hearing Danielson going, "You didn't ask me. I didn't want to move here."
No, but Carter can't do that. Carter can't do that. Because technically he was very mellow. He's been brainwashed for a long time. He has nowhere else to go, and they just took him in. Like we said, it's not really official. So if they decide to just give him the boot, the spurs to the behind, he can't do anything about it.
Yeah, even when he tried and talk to Tate, they were like, "Tate, you can't talk to him."
Right? Yeah. Oh,
he's not a real Dutton, Tate.
He's not a real Dutton. Exactly. Oh man.
He's just your fake cousin.
He's your fake cousin. Hey, fake cuz. Oh, FC. That's what we call you. Fake cuz. Oh, that's sad.
Well, there's only 2 Duttons, right? There's Jamie.
The kids.
There's Jamie's son,
which I'm sure we'll find later on, but they have to do a time jump for that one.
Totally forgot about. Totally forgot that Jamie had one, and then we have little Tate.
Little Tate. Little Tate. That just sounds wrong. You just said little Tate. No, that's offensive. Okay. Right. So we'll keep going here.
So I quickly hit the 10P ranch. I think we just see it again, and we see Beulah. Mm-hmm. But this is where we jump to Rip and Azul, and they're discussing the 10 pedal.
Yeah.
And basically, like, hey, they're the problem.
Yeah,
they basically run the area, is what he's basically saying.
Yeah, have the ranch, have the slaughterhouse. We'll bring it up here because it all ties in. Tried to buy that ranch from the original owners also.
Yes.
And
Rob Will is the son. So what he just did, he's kind of starting a problem, but they need someone that's good with horses, and that's a cowboy. And Azul says, "Hey, I might know someone, but there's some issues."
Yeah.
And so this is where he's kind of told, and we'll meet this guy later on. We go back to the rodeo, and Carter has his flowers. This is where he gets used. This is where he gets in the fight.
No. Well, yeah, because he goes to leave when he's leaving the rodeo, and then he sees a girl that's like getting manhandled or something, just arguing with a guy. It gets a little physical, and he gets on top. He goes to town on this guy. He pulls.
Did anybody catch why she was mad at him?
No, there was something
that took him 3.9 seconds, I think, is what it was, to take care of the cattle or whatever that he was jumping on. That's what she was mad about. You don't want to be involved with someone that is that stuck up.
That's what that was. I thought it was something else. Oh, see, I missed that part. But he jumps on him. Carter jumps on this guy and just starts pounding on him. And sure enough, a cop comes over and then they whack him and they take him away. I'm like, all right, that's it. You're done. You just can't just run around and start beating on people. Well, it depends on the part of town you're in.
So then we get the go back to the vets. Now we're actually at the vet's office. And saying, this horse is lucky. It's clearly expensive to save a horse, because we all know, like, normally when these horses, if they break their leg, they're put down.
They put them down. That's it. Send them to the glue factory, right? That's what they always say. It's like, but no, he fixes them up. It's true. That's what they say.
It's true.
It's sad. I don't know what kind of
Elmer. I know I got Elmer's glue around here somewhere.
Elmer's glue. I got some Gorilla Glue right here. There we go. Hey.
I don't think that's the same glue.
It's got the horsey meat in there. I don't know. I have no idea. That could be just an expression. They don't really do it. I don't know. But the horse is good. Again, he brings up that money, that well, and the whole thing. And she's like, okay. But then that's when she brings up about the slaughterhouse. I was like, hey, listen. She brings up the issue with Beulah's. They're like, oh, yeah, they're horrible. Whole thing. Hey, do you know anybody that can sell my cattle? I need to cooked up and chopped up. Yeah. I know a spot. It's in San Antonio. It's like, okay, then I guess we're going now. And he first says no, but then he's like, well, I do want to get paid. So yeah. So it's in his best interest to take her, on this trip to the slaughterhouse that's in San Antonio. And there you go. Road trip.
Yeah. But and then in the meeting between this, we see Rob talking to his mom, and this is he literally. If I have it right down, he said, "I done fucked up." Basically, like, you could say that again. So, clearly, this family, they have no secrets between each other. Well, I'm sure there's going to be secrets that come out.
They do a lot of bad things.
Yes.
And mom knows about it. There's a roughhousing boys out in Texas. I mean, we know these stories. We've heard them.
Yep.
So that's where they're going with this. So the same dad, don't know. Is he in the picture? No, I'm assuming that the dad is either in a hospital or an old home, or something's wrong with him. He's definitely not on the premise.
No, I have a feeling he's going to be a high priced, like super rich guy.
Oh,
because when he says something, she's like, your dad doesn't need to know about this. This business doesn't concern him.
So you took it in that way, and I took it as he has failing health issues, and he doesn't need the stress to know that now his son is involved in some horrible situation and might go to jail. But they come up with the plan. I think after this, right? About going to rehab.
That comes up later on.
Yeah. I think it was that later on. It was like it was a lot of people. It was a lot.
What we do get is Beth. Beth comes home. Rip is waiting. She kind of explains, that.
Well, she went to. They got the meet. They did the meet. They met the family. That's going to be the new spot for whenever they need to do the stuff to offer a fair price, right?
That happens later, because she tells him. This is where she actually tells him, "Hey, I need, we need a new slaughterhouse." But she also starts talking about her dad and how he was so calming, and how they would just sit there and it's odd. It's kind of like my grandfather. When my grandfather passed away, all the granddaughters talked about how nice he was and he was wonderful, and all the grandsons were like, all he did was yell at us.
Yeah, I mean, you trying to remember the good times.
I think Casey had a different feeling.
Yeah,
we know Jamie did.
Oh, we definitely know Jamie did. Jamie was out for himself.
But we get Carter in jail.
Yep.
Carter's in jail. And then Sheriff Wade, he's someone that we will see. Josh Stewart, you've seen him in other things.
Yep. No name.
He says, "Hey, you know what? You're out." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Do you want to stay or not?" And then this is where we find out Oriana, is that how we say her name?
Yep, Oriana.
Basically pulled some strings. She knows the sheriff and says, he owes my dad some favors or done stuff. Basically, we'll find out who she is really shortly.
Well, definitely.
And then we get the morning, and Rip leaves. Beth's checking, and Carter is just sleeping in his bed. He somehow made it back. No one checks on him. No one wonders why he was out so late, or maybe he wasn't out that late because he left the rodeo early, since all he had to do was 5 years.
And since he wasn't really booked, I'm assuming they just put him in holding. And
probably didn't have even time to.
Yeah, because Oriana said she really
followed him, right?
She knows him the whole thing, and she said he came to her aid, that type of thing. And it's like, okay, fine. So I'm assuming that's why there wasn't a big issue. Yeah, he probably just went home. She gave him a ride home, or he had his own car. Did he have his own car? I don't remember if he had a car.
He had to get there somehow.
Yeah, but I always see them in that one truck. So I don't.
Maybe he went by horse.
Maybe he went by horse.
Maybe she took him back to his horse.
Maybe back to his horse.
And maybe there was a big sign.
You know what you never see out in these countrysides? You never see bikes. And I guess because it's too much dirt, there's no way you could ride a bike or even a motorcycle. I don't see a lot of that.
Maybe she took him back to his horse, had a sign through it, and just like in Roadhouse, she's like, "Your fan club," and he's like, "They are devoted."
Yep.
Roadhouse is a very underrated movie, and I will watch it anytime.
They did the remake. I didn't watch it, but
it wasn't bad. But it should not have been called Roadhouse.
All right.
It was entertaining. Okay,
so
this is Joaquin and Beulah. That's his mother.
Yep.
And he says he wants Rob Will to go away, and he goes, he needs to go away now for a while. He needs to go to rehab. We're in a bad place. He's going to bring down this whole operation that we have. Now, the fact that this guy is not playing her husband is shocking because he looks very old, which makes me wonder if that's actually his real mom.
She claims him because does she? Oh. Yeah, she says, "Get your brother," and if that's the case, and we're saying that they're different dads. Well, yeah, but she wasn't happy about it, and she wouldn't want to hang out with the daughter. As in this situation, they seem to be close. They live in the same house.
There was the other one. Remember the other one?
There's the daughter. Oh man,
the youngest one.
The youngest one. Okay.
Or maybe he turned out to not. Yeah, I don't remember. It's been a while.
Yeah. We'll get when season 2 comes.
We need to get through this eventually.
We are
already an hour.
What? We are so behind. Oh man, I think we may have to split this though. If that's the case.
No. We don't have much more to go.
A whole other episode. We don't have much more to go. It's just a whole other hour episode. Oh no! Now I think we can't. We have to. If someone sees a 2 hour, they're not gonna. They'll be like, "This is too long." You're gonna have to skim. So we'll just make another video. But anyway, that was it for this episode. That's how everything got put together. There was more.
Yeah. So Rip is riding at the end, and this is where he finds Wes's body.
Oh yes. That's
and we all have questions in the next episode. Why the fuck is it in his freezer?
Yeah, he brings it in. He keeps it on ice. He's thinking of just cutting it up. He's like, maybe I can mix it up with the cattle meat. Nobody will know, But then I think the other reason why, and I'm just covering up for Rip here, is that it's the smell. And he physically puts it on ice, then it won't build up a smell because, as we learned in the beginning of the episode, hot stinkies.
If I ever find a dead body, I am calling the police.
You're calling the police. Oh, you're a snitch. Oh, you'll get you.
But I mean, I guess if you look back, Rip does have a lot of skeletons in his closet.
Oh, he's got a lot.
But anyway,
if he calls the police, they'll be like, "Tell me about yourself." You can't talk about it, like you said. Lots of. All right, so you know what? Boom, boom, boom. We did it. Oh, we'll be right back with episode 2. This went very long. Okay. Boop.